We're live.
Episode 29.
Live. You can hear me okay? Oh, you don't have your headphones on. How are you going to know if the audio is working? This is episode 29 of KT Confidential, and today we're talking new construction versus resale.
The reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's a question we get all the time. It's one that I got last night.
Okay.
What the fuck are you smiling at?
I don't know, you're just very animated today.
I'm always animated. I'm excited.
It's a very common question. Excuse my congestedness. I think it's allergies.
I thought you were going to say something there. So anyways, got the question last night from a potential client looking at new homes, also looking at resale homes, wanted my opinion on advantages and disadvantages to both sides. Now, you just actually did a deal.
Yes.
With one of your clients and purchased, what builder was it that you did the deal with?
Green Park.
Green Park.
Yes. Good builder. They were good to deal with. Sales representatives working with them were terrible. But my client didn't choose them for any particular reason, new versus resale. It just happened to be a nice house. So
Price wasn't too bad.
It was reasonable. Yeah.
Appliances included?
No. Yes, but they had
basics.
Like a tiny little white fridge.
Oh,
right?
White. So not even basic stainless steel.
Right. Well, I'm just
AC
guessing. Yeah.
It had AC.
Yeah. Townhouses, I think, often.
Oh, it's a townhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no fence.
No fence. And so this is the premise of, the pros and cons to it. So I think the nice thing with new construction that people get fixated on is it's kind of like, from our background, automotive industry, it's like new car versus used car. So there's something about it being new that's exciting. You get to pick all of your own finishings from the builder's selection. And you kind of get to piece it together and make it your own instead of moving into a house that was previously lived in.
So you brought up something that I think is important for people to think of if they're thinking between new home and resale home, is that even though if you buy a new home, you are pretty limited in the selection that you've got when it comes to things like tiles and hardwood floors and cabinets. They still might not offer the style that you like or the colors that you like or whatever, the brand.
Well, to the point where this situation, for example, so in the grade of, I can say, different tiers of product, right? So when you're looking at the granite, you get tier 1, 2, 3, whatever, depending on the price. In the tier that she selected, there were 3 colors and only 2 kind of worked with the cabinet colors that she wanted. And then she finds out that of the 2 she chose from, neither were actually available. So there's a lot of limitations, and there's no guarantee the things you choose will be available. So, while it's fun to kind of pick and choose your own things, you can do that in any house. And if you're doing it for a resale home, you have unlimited options, and the prices are often better.
So if somebody is considering to buy a new home, what would your advice be to them in terms of resale? Like, what's your pitch? Why buy a resale home? And we sell both. We sell new homes. We sell resale homes. I
don't think one's better than the other. I think people just need to know the pros and cons to both. So
let's go down them right now.
If you're considering, let's start with new.
Okay, new home.
So
pros.
New homes, pros.
New home.
It's like a fucking Build-A-Bear. Make it what you want. Right?
Sort of.
Pick your own interior finishings and colors.
A lot of builders won't let you move walls, and they won't let you extend the island, and they won't let you put different kind of touches on it. They have their floor plan, and they want you to stick more or less to that for the most part.
Right. But to a certain degree, you get to customize it. Right.
Right. But I think the fact that it's a new home Nobody's ever lived in it. We've talked about this before, where, no part of the home gets used except the toilets until it's closed.
Yeah.
Smells like a new home. It's nice and clean when you move in. Don't have to worry about anybody else's left garbage or whatever.
Well, and being brand new, you have nothing to do for 10 years, right? Your roof is good, your AC is good, your furnace is good, all your appliances are fine.
If those things are included. So let's keep going down the pro list.
Well,
Any other pros?
Well, relating to pros, being a newer home, you're getting modern finishing and design. So maybe more open concept, maybe some more energy efficiency, whether it's just
definitely not
building
outdated.
Right, exactly.
And you look at some of the homes like the Green Park homes or the country style homes, they're even doing the nice darker.
Country style's making homes now?
Country homes. Oh, did I say country style?
All I'm thinking about is donuts now.
It's because you've been on a diet for the last 4 months. So country homes and Green Park homes, they're doing the darker casings of the windows or the darker windows. That looks sharp.
Yeah, like I had a client call me recently asking for a referral to a window company.
Beautiful.
So they can install dark windows.
Yeah, so your home is more relevant and it's more on trend because it's, being built with...
Like new homes, 9-foot ceilings, pretty standard. Really nice feature. Not something you can feasibly do in most cases to a resale home.
Got to fidget with something. I'm going to get you a squish ball.
Okay.
Does anybody have a squish ball that Adrian can borrow for these podcasts?
Maybe? I like my pen. It works.
Okay. Any other pros?
I don't think so.
I think one of the pros that a lot of people don't think about is there is potentially going to be investors, flippers, people that bought on spec and things like that in a newer subdivision. You've got a lot of potential renters coming in. Like when you're buying a resale home, you can kind of gauge what the neighborhood is and who your neighbors are. You can find out how long the neighbors have been living there. When it's a new home, you have no idea who your neighbors are going to be or how they're going to...
Is this a pro or a con?
Are we? Oh yeah, we were still on pros.
Well, no, I don't care. We can go to cons. It sounds like you're leading down a negative path.
It sort of is and sort of isn't. So maybe it's a neutral.
No, I think it's a negative because newer neighborhoods are very transient. Like you don't know who your neighbors are going to be.
Unless like you look at when we bought our home. So we're neighbors. We bought brand new homes. We ended up making a lot of friends really quickly on our street because we all bought new homes, all closed more or less at the same time. None of us had driveways or backyards, so we were pulling out the barbecue in the front of the garage and people were coming over for a hot dog or whatever. When you move into an existing neighborhood where everybody's already established and has their cliques and all that, it's very hard to fit in right away. Whereas in a new neighborhood, people want to know, oh, hi, we just moved in too, right? So,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Never looked at it that way.
So those are the pros. The cons, and I'll quickly start with what I was just talking about. The cons are you might have landlords that are investors that have purchased units around you.
Investors that are landlords.
Investors that are landlords, yeah. Whatever. 6-1. So you don't know who's going to be moving in. You don't know if there's going to be any turnover. A lot of new neighborhoods, you'll close on a property and then you'll find a year later, 2 years later, people have got the for sale signs on the front lawn because they're trying to cash in and, do other things with their money. So there's a lot of turnover typically in newer subdivisions.
Yeah, huge. Way different.
Okay, so continuing with the cons of new build.
I don't know that it's necessarily, I guess it's a con, but just the unknown costs. I think a lot of costs people don't look at. So they see the list of house options, all the different floor plans and lot sizes, and they see the price and they're like, damn, that's cheap. But then they don't see the upgrade costs, right? So if you want to do any upgrades, you have to budget for that. And aside from that, there's other things like window coverings, no window coverings, sometimes no appliances, sometimes no air conditioner. Always, more often than not always, but more often than not, no fence. And then
well, let's just break. I'll interrupt you just for a sec because that's a huge component. You're not going to have a home without appliances, AC, fence, or window coverings.
Right.
So average, let's take a
10 grand,
2,000 square foot home. Okay, average size home. AC, 2,500, $3,000.
Yeah.
Window coverings about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Appliances, well, it all depends, but
a couple grand at least.
Oh, more than that. You're a couple grand on a decent fridge nowadays.
Well, it depends on what you want, but you could go cheaper.
You know, you're with washer and dryer. It's more like $5,000-6,000.
Okay.
And then the fence, there's another $2,500, right? So you're easily into it for
10 to 15.
Yeah, probably closer to 15 grand.
Yeah.
You haven't upgraded a light fixture yet.
Yep. Or painted. The builders paint is shit.
Awful.
You have to paint.
Not only are the color choices pretty bad, but the quality of the paint is brutal.
Yeah. Well, you touch it, it absorbs your oils and gets dirty, especially if you have kids.
Oh, man.
It won't last a year.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with new construction
As a con
is just living through the mess.
That's brutal.
If you have kids or pets, especially. But, you know, flat tires, how many random nails and screws do you run over?
Yep.
How many, you can't have a clean car. It's impossible. So that's my biggest thing.
Well, it's also for your air quality.
Yeah, when we first moved in, it was May. Shortly thereafter, the temperatures rose.
What the fuck was that?
We didn't have
a raccoon. Jen, there's a raccoon.
We couldn't open our windows to get airflow before our AC came in. If you open it for a second, you'd have an inch of dust everywhere.
Yeah. And if you have kids, that's high concern for sure. And you mentioned pets. If you have a dog, not only is there no grass, good luck finding a park nearby. They haven't built the parks yet. They're building the homes first. No schools nearby. And your kid's going to go to one school. And then 2 years later, when there's finally a school in the neighborhood, the kid's going to get relocated to that school.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's, you make a friend with one kid that lives around the corner from that school. He's not going to the new school, or she's not going to the new school. So, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and they get shifted around for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, totally.
One of the big things too, especially nowadays, not so much in the past. In the past, it was very lucrative to buy new construction. But we've seen in recent years, it's not always the case.
They are pricing for future pricing.
Yeah, they're pricing not as aggressively as they used to. And you are banking on the market being however long. So if you buy a house for $700K and it's closing in a year, you're hoping that the market will be in that position or better. And the last few years has shown us that's not always the case. And there are people now trying to get out of those contracts.
I think it's rebounding quite a bit now, but you do definitely see builders being more aggressive on their pricing. Plus land costs, carrying costs for the builder. There's a lot of costs involved with building a neighborhood that have increased the overall builder cost as well. So they can't produce it as cheap as they used to.
I can hear Cam breathing.
Is that him breathing?
Sounds like Darth Vader. Are you playing Candy Crush? Yeah. Anyways, from this
threw him off.
It totally threw me off. Squirrel. From this list, I'd say there's definitely a lot more cons, but I don't know who's more attracted to new construction. Maybe new first-time home buyers because they like the new shiny stuff, all the high tech.
So you're telling me the average first-time home buyer has all that extra cash for the appliances?
Oh, sorry, that was another thing. The extra cash I didn't finish talking about. So the obvious things are there, right? So people need to account for those extra costs in their purchase price. But there's other things. If you look, so in this recent one I did, there's a page in the agreement of purchase and sale, a Tarion requirement that breaks down all the extra costs that the builder doesn't include in their cost, in their purchase price.
Which includes the Tarion registration.
Tarion registration includes
driveway paving,
planting a tree, paving the driveway, hydroenergization, and the I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The deposit. What's the deposit for? Any special, not assessments. Anyways, if the municipality imposes any new charges or changes that the builder has to incur additional costs before closing, you have to put a deposit down to cover those costs. The fee for this house was $6,000 or $6,500. It's a big chunk of change that you have to
charges deposit. Yeah.
Development charges. Thank you. Anyways, that's a lot of money.
So there's all of those extra closing costs on a new home that you don't incur on a resale home. Another con, you talk about having pets and kids. Not only do you not get grass right away, you can't put a fence until the grading has been signed off on.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah,
but most people won't.
But you see how most of the builders are grading their lots? For sure, they've got to be regraded before a fence goes in or before sod goes down.
Well,
when the sod goes down, it does change sometimes how the overall landscape of the grading can be affected. So
okay, I don't follow, but I agree. Overall. The grading makes a big difference. In fact, the lease we have in Cambridge, you can't even open the back door. It's screwed shut because there's like a 20-foot drop. You can't go in the back. There's 20 feet from the door to the ground. So you can't use your backyard.
Is that really, or is he exaggerating?
It's huge. And it backs onto space where the grading is really low. And it all has to be filled in. So they won't have a backyard for 3 to 5 years.
And somebody actually leased the property?
It's not signed yet, but yes.
You're hoping?
Yeah.
Any other cons for new build?
I don't think so. That's it.
I think there's a shit ton of cons. Delays?
Oh, the buying process, yeah.
So let's talk about delays.
Yeah.
Like if you own an existing home and you've purchased a new home and you're hoping that home closes on September 1st, you go and sell your house, and now the builder, before the 90 days is up, tells you, oh, sorry, we've even had clients within that 90 days that got a notice and says your house isn't going to be ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's more inconvenient than anything, but the builder, within those 90 days, they have to pay you. So they do compensate you pretty handsomely, too. I mean, like, handsomely in the sense it'll cover, like, getting an Airbnb or something. You're not making money.
Yeah, thanks. So you got to move twice.
Right, well, that's what I mean. It's a huge inconvenience.
So the uncertainty of really knowing when you're going to get the keys to that home is definitely a con.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about resale homes then. Pros and cons on resale. So the pros are covers off a lot of what the cons are from the new homes.
Yeah. Chat with Cam. I have to go blow my nose. This cold is killing me. You chat with Cam for a second.
You really do have a cold, you fucking prick.
No, it's not. It's congestion. It's my allergies.
Hey Cam, are you in the market for a resale home? I think you might be. So what the hell did you have in there? I think Adrian inhaled a Cinnabon. So the pros for a resale home are basically a lot of the cons from the new build. So the appliances are there, the fence has been put in, the AC is there. You don't normally have a lot of money to outlay in a home that's anywhere from 5 to 10 or 12 years. There's a lot of other pros that happen with the new. What is going on in there? The downfall of our.
I don't want to leave you twice, so I have to make sure.
The downfall of our boardroom is that the only washroom in the studio is.
I mean, it may as well have a glass door.
5 feet from where we record. Good thing nobody's had to take a shit yet while we're in the middle of recording. I guess we could edit that out and
or just be really quiet for 5 minutes and make them feel awkward.
Throw one of the little lapel mics right under the door.
Thanks for that book, by the way, today.
Yeah, you're welcome. It slid under there quite nicely. So,
pros and cons to
the major
resale.
costs of what you might outlay on a new home are non-existent most of the time on a resale home.
You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
The fence is there. It's likely been landscaped in some capacity. The home might be painted. If you're buying if you're buying one of our resale homes, chances are 95% of the time you will move right in and enjoy it for quite a while without ever having to spend a cent on it until it's absolutely necessary. Oftentimes resale homes will have the upgraded lighting. We talked about this actually a couple of weeks ago in another conversation, but you don't think of lighting as being a huge expense, but every pot light installed is $75.
That's just for that. Then you got to repair the ceiling and...
Yes, and
that's cheap actually.
Crown moldings, waffle ceilings, things like that. They're all expensive, but even just a pretty basic light fixture that you would buy in a hardware store, $150 for the average light.
Basic.
Most homes have probably 20 light fixtures at a bare minimum. You're talking $3,000, $4,000 in lighting.
At the end of the day, you can move in and do nothing most of the time. But the nice thing with the resale option is that you still can make it your own. Like that's
a huge pro right there, is especially if you're buying a home that's more than 10 years old, you might be inclined to knock down a wall and make a floor plan that's more suitable to your lifestyle. The client that you just helped at Kingsgate Construction is doing the job for them. The plan for them is, this is a home that didn't have a garage. We're going to add a garage. We're going to add a beautiful master oasis on top of the garage with an ensuite, a walk-in closet. And I don't know if they told you about that. The plan is they're going to have a walkout terrace
off the master
to overlook the backyard, which I think is just friggin' awesome.
They will get every penny of that back.
Oh, for sure.
So here's the biggest thing with real estate in general is the lot, right? You're buying a new home, it's on a tiny lot.
Yep.
Like
they're getting smaller and smaller.
Smaller and smaller, significantly. And that's why we're getting more and more people now wanting to move out of them. We're having much more demand for the older neighborhoods. You can't buy lots like that anymore.
Yeah. I don't put all the weight into the lot size because different strokes for different folks. Some people don't want the maintenance. Some people don't have kids or pets and don't need it, don't want it. But you're right. A lot of people want that extra buffer between neighbors, want maybe a little bit of privacy, want to put a pool in the future, have pets, have kids. So they want that little bit of extra space. And homes that were built even 5-6 years ago have larger lots than the homes are being built today. They just keep cutting them back and back and back, right?
Well, and when I say lots, I'm thinking lot size, but I'm also thinking neighborhood location.
Yeah.
Like
urban sprawl. It's all going further out.
I went for the revisit with your clients the other day. And just, driving down an old mature street with tree lined on both sides.
Isn't that a beautiful
everything
area?
Overhanging your drive. It's beautiful. It's
technically Clarkson, but it's like borderline of Lauren Park.
Yeah. It's a great spot.
You can walk to the plaza, walk to the GO station, walk to Clarkson Village.
Yeah. Like that took 30 to 50 years more.
Yeah.
To build up like that. So that's nice.
The trees in the back, that one tree in the backyard is probably 100 years old easily. So, lots of pros. We could go on and on about pros of resale.
Yeah.
What are the cons?
Cons of resale. You may have additional expenses such as a new roof or new mechanical equipment or replacing shitty carpet, but they're known expenses, things you can budget for.
Also, things like paint.
Yeah.
Not too many times I have a buyer that doesn't want to put their own stamp on the home, whether it's paint, backsplash, maybe upgrading the appliances even further. Not every home has granite countertops and quartz countertops, especially
but I don't see that
bathrooms and things.
as a con necessarily, because the new homes may not come with it either. You're paying extra for it.
That's true. I suppose that's true.
I think old homes have more character. I think you can
define old.
Well, even, I don't know, 20 to 30 years old. 30 years old.
I think more than 30.
30 to 50.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Right.
But those homes have more character. I think buyers need to have, it's hard, I guess, if you haven't done it before, but they need to have an open mind to kind of envision what the house can be rather than what's in front of them too. Because like some clients of ours have done some amazing stuff with their houses.
This doesn't sound like a con to me.
Oh, was it supposed to be a con? I guess the con is...
Okay, so I've got a few cons right here. So if the basement's finished, you're not seeing between the walls. We just bought a home, has a finished basement.
You haven't even seen the house yet.
No, that's right. I haven't seen it at all.
I just put your name on the contract.
Yeah, thank you for that. Do you think the basement was finished professionally?
That was decent. I mean, what's professional? Fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't think there's any
Did the
definition
homeowner finish the basement?
I don't
Hard
know.
to tell.
I think they're Polish, so they probably have friends that did it.
It's very kind of racist of you.
Not at all.
You're Polish. You must have some friends that lay some fucking tile.
You know how many of the contractors in my Rolodex are Polish?
Yeah.
Like 90% of them are Italian.
Best floor guy is Polish.
He's my absolutely.
Is there a subfloor?
No.
No subfloor? So they put the laminate
down, yeah. But it feels like it was installed well.
Is there any vapor barrier underneath that you could see?
You don't put vapor barrier under.
You got to put something to protect the laminate against the concrete.
No, laminate now, they have that little foam pad on the bottom.
Is it cork or foam?
I don't know.
Is wood or like what kind of framing did they do? Do you know?
No, I don't know. Wasn't exposed.
Did they take the insulation off and then frame?
Not likely.
Okay.
Nobody does.
So
not many people do.
So anyways, yes, okay. We purchased a home. I haven't seen it yet, but we don't know what's between the walls.
Right.
We can't see what's happening there. Is there any foundation issue?
Right.
Is there any mold? Is there insulation? I mean, you can go with the infrared thing and kind of gauge, but you don't know.
Yeah, no.
You don't know. You don't know if anything's being covered up, right? At the end of the day.
No, but there's certain signs you can look for, like smells. If it smells musty or moldy, that's a huge one. Big giveaway.
Yep.
Buckling floors or any
kind of stains,
signs of water damage in the baseboard,
any warping.
Walls. Yeah, so there's certain things you can look for to mitigate your risks. But the nice thing with it being finished is whatever they spent on it, they're probably not getting back. So
not on the basement.
We're coming out ahead rather than us finishing it. Yep. I think same as a pool, stuff like that.
But the con is that you can't see things that may be potentially covered up.
Right.
Other cons are the house is what it is unless you want to spend money on it. So to the point of a new home, you're picking those color choices and all that.
Well, you're even picking the floor plan you want.
You're picking the floor plan. You're picking the colors.
So
you're picking the door handles.
This is where I'm going to live. This is what I want on that lot.
Right.
It's fun. It's
resale home. It is what it is.
Right.
It's kind of like that as is purchase almost, right?
Yeah.
Any others?
No, I don't think so.
If you were in the market for a home today, would you be more inclined for a new home or a resale home?
The only way I would do new is if it was
super cheap.
No. Yeah, a tent on a lot. No, as if it was true custom. I hired Kingsgate Construction to build me home of my dreams.
Well, yeah, but that's not the average buyer. That's not what we're talking about here today.
No, I know.
That's a whole other.
Right.
That's
so
a whole
what
other
I'm
realm.
saying. That's the only way I would do new.
So when we say new build, we're talking you walk into Mattamy
in
Homes,
a subdivision
build.
No, I would buy resale 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I don't know why. A combination of all the above. Mainly just living. It's really just living through the mess. I hate it. And not even because of the mess, but it's like you can't enjoy the house. Like it doesn't feel like home. You can't go outside and have a barbecue and have your friends over to hang out in the backyard, have your kids play on the driveway. It's just a place.
And if you see the average home that we sell, whether it's on the buying side or selling side, the average resale home feels a little bit like home. Like some of them are definitely very homey. Some of them are, to the point where you add a few photos and on the walls and it'll be nice. It takes a long time to make a brand new home feel like a home.
Oh, there's so much to do.
It's a house for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas in a resale home, somebody's hopefully loved it over however many years and added some nice touches to it. So it's a lot easier to transition.
Yeah, I agree.
Into a resale home.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's it. So a lot of pros.
What would you do? I didn't ask you.
Resale home.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
Unless, well, it's interesting because, and you've heard me say this before, I think we'll be in our home for maximum another 2 years. I don't know, sounds of destruction over here.
What's going on over there?
Between you taking...
You know how much trouble I get for doing that at the house?
Yeah. You do?
For horking like that?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you horking in your house?
I'm not. That's my point. I don't, because I get in trouble for it.
Do you go outside and do it? Did you hear the guy?
I'm not going to admit to doing it.
I don't know if you've noticed the guy across from you, in the corner.
The guy's out there smoking all the time.
Have you heard him?
Oh, he's gross. Yeah.
That guy, I swear, he is coughing up a rabbit like every 3 seconds.
He smokes a lot.
And you see the loogies coming out of him?
Well, I don't physically see them. But
oh, man. I'm like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah. That happens in the change room at LA Fitness all the time. It's so gross. Like I'll be in there having a shower and I hear people just horking up a storm everywhere. I'm like, man, who taught you manners, Cam?
Very manly men.
Yeah, apparently.
I would buy a new construction home in a subdivision if it met at least, if we have 10 boxes to check off, it would have to meet 9 of them.
Like a huge premium pie lot, back in a green space.
Yeah. So, and what I was starting to say before, Cam, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Completely sidetracked this.
Yeah. We're only going to be in that home for another 2 years, maybe, before the kids start school. I want to be in a quote unquote forever style home. Not that we would be in it forever, but I want them to be in the same school, at least through grade school. You hit the nail on the head. Pie lot or a premium lot because we want a pool.
Mm-hmm.
Pool.
Alicia's bugging me for a pool all the time.
Really?
I just say put some ice cubes.
Well,
in
if
the
we
hot
didn't
tub.
put that fence down the middle, we could have shared a big pool.
I'm pretty sure then we'd have to do something with the title of our house.
Yeah. That's one hell of an easement.
A slight easement.
Right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with kids, and I get it, like for our spouses that are home with the kids all day, it would be nice to open the door, let the kids jump in the pool, maybe even take a dip themselves. And then for us, that would be pretty cool too. You get home at the end of the long day, you can't do anything, take a nice dip.
Yeah.
Can't do that in our lots. So no. I would want a big lot. If you have a pool, it's ideal to be backing onto no other homes or have a buffer between the homes.
Is that because you're not comfortable with your physique?
Who said I'm not comfortable with my physique?
Well, you don't want people looking at you?
What if I want to go skinny dipping?
Is that revert back to you're not comfortable with your physique?
I don't think everybody wants to see my balls at night.
At night? Oh my God.
Wow.
You must have impressive balls.
You want to go skinny dipping 3:00 in the afternoon?
Not with you.
God, I hope you don't put a pool in your backyard. You know, from my master bedroom window, I can see everything that happens in your backyard, including your hot tub. Eh?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah. By the way, sorry about the flower petals. So for those of you that...
I was trying to clean my hot tub yesterday.
I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, man. Oh, Sunday.
So in our backyard, I made the decision to, what did you call it? Mount Forest or something?
Sherwood Forest.
Sherwood Forest.
Do you know what that reference is?
No.
Robin Hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we planted along the back of the fence 9 cedars, and then along the sides, I think 4 ornamental pear trees on each side, and then some really nice maple trees in the corner. So when it all grows...
But to put things into perspective, your backyard is like 10 by 10.
It's actually 36 by 26, okay? So the ornamental pear trees, which the only reason I got them was because you had them installed first, and I thought, okay, because
Dave.
Dave recommended to install those, and I said, okay, well, if he's got them and he likes them and they're good, put them in. So we put them in, but what I didn't know is every spring they're going to have 9 billion flowers on each.
And they stink.
Do they stink?
You don't notice that yet?
No.
They give off a stink just during that while they're blooming.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it may have been my children.
No, definitely.
It's the trees.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't smelled it.
Only for like 2-3 weeks. Like it's gone now. But in the beginning, they stink.
So these flowers are just everywhere. Like they're covering the all the furniture. So on Sunday, Adrian chimed in because all the flowers going into your hot tub.
Well, I was trying to clean it. Yeah. I was emptying the water, scrubbing it down.
And then in the fall, they lose all their leaves, so there's leaves everywhere.
Wow.
But they do provide nice privacy. When all that grows in, I won't be there to enjoy it probably. So slowly starting to. It's been, 3 years now. Mm-hmm. When all that grows in, somebody's going to appreciate that.
Yeah. Actually, if there's an arborist out there that wants to help me, I have 2 trees that are not growing as well as you.
I'd actually like to have an arborist on the...
I would too.
On the podcast.
Yes.
I hired a great arborist up in Muskoka. Unfortunately, they won't come here. Bartlett Tree Experts up in Muskoka. So for those of you in Huntsville, Muskoka area, they did a tremendous job. Their arborist went up at least 70 feet in a tree that they didn't even think was going...
70 feet?
I have photos. I'll show you. I swear to God, the guy was 4 times as high as my cottage, trimming it and trying to salvage this tree because it was slowly starting to look like it was going to die. So he said, okay, let's not get rid of it yet.
So he can do things to bring it back to life?
Well, because... what he said is you don't want to trim too much of it because you actually, the tree has to recover every time something gets cut off of it. But if something is rotted or infested or whatever, you need to get rid of it. So he trimmed it up. And
it's like if you have a gangrene in your leg, you need to get rid of it.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. Anyway, they really did such a great job. So I'm hoping that we can find somebody like that locally. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with your trees?
I don't know. I have 6 ornamental pear trees.
3 back, 3
side? On the side are doing very well.
Okay.
And then the 3 along the back, I think it's just excess water. I think that's the problem.
Well, it's because the guy behind you concreted his entire backyard.
I know.
And then has a totally illegal structure that's probably 12 feet high.
He should have eavesdrops on there at least. Because there's nothing to...
That whole backyard is illegal in it's against every
you can't hardscape like that the whole thing, can you?
No. You need... Where's the water going? It's going into your lot. It's going into my lot. I had to install a whole weeping system. I don't know if you did that.
No.
We dug up the entire backyard and put a whole weeping system along both sides and along the entire back that drains all of that stuff, because the neighbor behind me also did a nice job where there is area for water to escape. But the guy behind you literally concreted the entire backyard.
Yeah, right up to his,
by the way,
his gate. He had the
stupid thing to do, because that decreases the value of your home. It provides not only no increase, it decreases the value, because nobody wants to go into a backyard where it's one big concrete fucking pad.
That's right.
Should call the town and complain. He should be replacing your trees.
I gotta live with them.
Well, not really.
I guess.
They're probably dying because of too much water.
100% is too much water. That's the only thing I think of. That's where all the water goes.
Should have installed pussy willows.
They like water?
They love water, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Yeah.
It's a good idea. Cam's chuckling because you said pussy.
Probably.
Anyways.
Thanks for listening to episode 29. That's it. And that's a wrap for episode 29 of KT Confidential. We really appreciate you listening. We'd even appreciate it even more if you go ahead and follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. We've got some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. We've got Matt, also known as the Fruitful Investor, Amanda Muse, and Jamie from Goodnight Halton. So these will be great podcasts that you won't want to miss. So make sure you go ahead and follow. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Was it too?